Going on, guys? So in this video we are going to be talking about a very important topic, and that is user authentication, how it works, what you need to know, and how to implement it in your own app. Okay, so right away the thing that you should know is that this platform already supports user authentication. There's ways for creating users, authenticating users, and things like that. And the way you know that, if you go to the data tab here and you go to the app, you go to the data types, we already have a data type of user. This is a built-in data type. The item one is one I created in one of the previous videos when we were doing a tutorial on how to make a to-do app. But the user already exists there, and so all of these fields already exist. I believe I just created the name field, okay, and so we can click on reference and we can learn more about it. And so we have field name to describe custom fields. So this is just a general. And so if you take a look at the user type, you can see a little bit about how it works behind the scenes. These are the specific fields and options to use for the type user. We have email. This applies to the type user only and returns the user's email. Is logged in, is logged out, email confirmed, uses password, two-factor authentication, etc., etc. So this makes our job a lot easier and a lot simpler. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it from beginning to end. So the first thing that you have to understand is that this app is divided into different sections. And so we have the header here and we have the main page. The button that's going to invoke the whole login phase and the logout and everything like that is actually in the header part. And that means that the workflows and things like that will also need to be done in the header, because the way this works is that a lot of this, it kind of has its own rules, its own system, its own state. And so it's always a good idea to tie it together. You do not want to create this login form on this main page. You want it to be associated with this button here, which is associated with the header. And so if you go to the header, if I go to the pages and I go into the header here, this is where we want to create our new pop-up, our new workflow. And so if I double click on this button, this is what we're going to be assigning the workflows to. Okay, and also this is where we're going to be creating the UI elements. Okay, and so the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a UI element that will allow the user to sign up if they do not have an account. If they're logged out and they don't have an account, we are going to create an account with them. And so the way you want to do that is you want to start creating your UI elements by creating a pop-up. So we're going to click on pop-up here and we're going to create this pop-up. Now this pop-up here is going to have a group. We're going to click on this group and we are going to fill it in here. And this group is going to have elements with the data that's going to be pertaining to the user. So if we center it real quick here, we're going to create the elements. So we're going to go to input and we are going to draw a bunch of elements. And so the elements that we want, there's going to be several elements. The first element is going to be the username. Then we're going to have the email, and then we're going to have two password fields for the confirmation. And so if I copy this here, actually, let's make it a little bit longer. Let's make it a little bit longer here, and also this a little bit longer as well. And we're going to have the password confirmation field. Let's arrange it nicely like this. And so if we double click on this, we want the placeholder. We want it to basically say, username. Okay, this is going to be the username. This is going to be an email. And then we're going to have password. Okay, password and password confirmation or confirm password. Okay, and after that, we're going to have a button. So we're going to go out and find a button here. Where's that button? That button. Here's the button. We're going to click on it and we're going to draw it here. We're going to double click on it. And we're going to write sign me up, sign up. And so this username, what you want to do is you want to put the content format to the correct field. So for the username, it's going to be text. For the email, you want it to be email. For the password, you're going to put password. And for the confirm password, this is also gonna be password. And now you have all the fields that are perfectly connected with the data tabs. Okay, we have the username here, we have email, we have password. Now it's time to create the workflow. For the workflow, we're gonna click on this. We're gonna start and edit workflow, and we're gonna click here to add an action. We are gonna go to this left pane here, pick account, and click on sign the user up. Now, once you do that, you're gonna have this dialog box, and what you wanna do is for the email, it needs an email and password. Also, it needs a username, which we're gonna do in a second. So for the email, we're gonna click on that. We're gonna scroll down, input email value. For the password, we're gonna go in here, input passwords value. We wanna check require a password confirmation, because that is how we set it up. We want them to enter the password again so that we can compare it. And if they're equal, we're gonna let them through. So we're gonna go down and we're gonna click on input confirm password value. And then remember, in the design, we also have the username, and the username is an extra field. It's not taken automatically by the system. So we need to click on change another field. You need to click on name, click here, and then go down, input username's value. And once you do that, it's gonna go out and create another row in the data for the user. So if we go to app data, we have a bunch of fields. So we can delete several of them. Let's say we delete these last two because I was playing with them. So now we have two fields, okay? Two fields that I was working with before, so I don't want to delete them right now. But all the new users, they're gonna be created here. We're gonna have the name, the username here. This is gonna be filled in automatically, except for the email, which is gonna be inputted from the user. Now, the next thing you want to do is that when they click sign up, when they click sign up, nothing is gonna happen. It's gonna create the user, but there's not gonna be any visual prompt or visual confirmation that the user has been created. And so there's a couple of things that we can do. We can go really fancy by creating another pop-up, say that the user has been, or we can go very, very basic and just redirect them to the main screen, log them in and redirect them to the main screen. And so this is an option I'm gonna do just to keep this video nice and simple. And so what we want to do is we want to click on this. We want to click on start edit workflow. We want to sign the user up, and then we want to go down and refresh the page. So at least something changes, okay? And so let's see if this is working. We're going to go back on design. We're going to click on, so you cannot load the app if you're in the reusable part because you can't do it. You have to go into index here, and now you can preview it. Oh, and before we do that, we want to make sure that when they click on sign up or login, it's going to display the proper UI elements, okay? We haven't done that before. So when they click on this, we want the proper UI elements to be displayed. So we're going to create this workflow. When this is clicked, we want our element actions to show for that element, for that pop-up A. And this is the pop-up. I know it's not very descriptive, but if you hover over it, you are going to see the preview of this UI element. So we're going to click on that. And now if you go back to index and we click on preview, it's going to display properly now that we linked the two. So if we click on this, it gets displayed. Okay, we can click out anywhere else and it closes back up. So we click on this. So let's say I want to create a new username. I'm going to say James NoCode, email james@james.com, password is going to be hey. We're going to click on sign up. And the other thing that you can do is you can also check out the debugger. Okay, you can click on slow. So you can click on any elements here and it's going to show you what are you doing. So if you hover over, you're going to see interesting things happening. So we can click on stop, we can click on slow, and that way you're going to see the data as it's happening, okay? And so let's stop it here. Let's run the app. And so you see it says run slow, it shows up, and then we click on sign up, and then it shows up all the fields that are happening. So the email is already in use. This very original email is already in use. And as you can see, for the properties, email is passed on, confirmation, password is hey. Send an email is no. Require the password confirmation is yes. Confirmation page is empty. We're not using that functionality. And the name is this. So it's telling us it's taken. We're going to try again. We're going to put James 2 and we're going to click on sign up. And so now it's displaying all the data and it refreshes the page. And so this user was probably created. Let's go back and see. We're going to go back to the app. We're going to click on data and we have all users. Okay. And now we can refresh this page or actually just go back out and we see the user. You do not need to refresh it. You can, but what you can do is you can go into another view for all items and come back to all users. And now you see the new username. It was created just now. And it logged us in as well. So we're logged in as the user as well. And the way you want to make sure that this is happening, if you go back to our header, you want to make sure that this button is showing up, is going to say sign up or log in, or it's going to say log out if we already logged in. So you want this to be conditional, okay? And so if we go in here, you're going to have, you can specify properties, okay? And so it says when we can say current user is logged in, we can change the property of this button. So if they already logged in, you want it to say logged out. So we're going to click on text and we're going to change it to log out. Okay. And so once we do that, we can test it out. We can go back to our index. We can reload the app and it should say log out because we already logged in and we have a conditional. So it says log out. Now this log out is actually not connected to a workflow right now. So we're going to do that in a second. And so when we are designing the workflows, we have to take into account that different things are going to happen depending on if they're logged in or logged out, okay? Because the button is the same, but it's going to display different things depending on their current state. And so that is taken care of right now. Because if we go to the design for the button, if you go on, if you click on this button and take a look in the inspector, we have a conditional. So when the current user is logged in, it's going to display log out. And all other cases, which is the default cases that they're not logged in, it's not going to change anything. It's just a simple if statement. Because if they are not logged in, it's going to say this. If they are logged in, it's going to say log out. And now we have to take care of the workflow. So we have one workflow that says button sign up or login is clicked and current user is logged in, okay? So they're logged in, we are gonna log out. We do not want them to log in. So we're gonna put logged isn't logged in, okay? They're not, is not logged in, we're gonna show the pop-up. And then we're gonna create another workflow here. So I copied this state to another state. And so we're gonna modify this initial state to say that button sign up or logged in is clicked and current user is logged in. So we're gonna click on is logged in and we're gonna log them out. So this is gonna be a workflow for logging the user out. So we're gonna go account, log the user out, okay? And so we have button sign up is logged in, is clicked, and current user is logged in. Button is clicked and current user isn't logged in. So it's gonna show pop-up and then it's gonna, do the whole action in there. And so let's see if this works. Let's go back to the index. Let's click on preview and let's take a look at this flow to see how it's working. So we're logged in, we're gonna click on log out, and now our current user is logged out, and now it says sign up or log in. We're gonna click on sign up or log in, and as you can see, it's happening right here, and now we are displayed the whole thing. Now the other thing that we can do is, right, it says sign up or log in. We also can create a login here, and that's gonna show them a different form where they will be logged into the system. So let's do that really quickly. So let's go back to our UI designer and we are gonna go into the header because that's what we are working with. We're gonna look at our element trees. We have this pop-up which is for signing up the user. We need another pop-up for logging in the user. So we're gonna click on this pop-up here. We're gonna place it and this is gonna be login pop-up login user, something like this. And we are gonna start putting in the input fields here. This is gonna be their username. Okay, we can also center it horizontally, copy and paste that, put it below. This is gonna be the username here, and this is gonna be the password here. Okay, now we just need a button. We're gonna take that button here. We're also gonna center it horizontally, and then it's gonna say log in. Okay, if that's what they want to do, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna click on Start Edit Workflow. We're gonna create an action, go to account, log the user in. Their email is input email. Actually, it wants by email. Okay, so let's go back and put in the email because it wants it by email. Let's go back to design. We're gonna rename this to email. And this is gonna be input email. This is gonna be input password. We're gonna go back to Start Edit Workflow, log the user in, account, log the user in. Email is gonna be input email value, and password input password value. And that's all you have to do. And then you're pretty much done. So we're gonna log the user in, and now we're gonna go out. We're gonna try this flow. We're gonna go back to index. We're gonna resolve a couple of issues. And so this says log the user in. Let's fix that real quick. Actually, we have a duplicate. So let's remove this original here. We're gonna go to design, and we are gonna go put our index here, and we're gonna click on preview. And we are gonna try to see if it's working how we intended it. Okay, so we have sign up or login. We click on that. Okay, we're gonna stop debugging it. We also need the login button. So let's go and do that real quick. Let's do that login button. Let's go into the header. Let's go into this login user. This is going to be the pop-up. I'm going to go and make this a little bit smaller. Something like this. Copy and paste it. And then this is going to say login. Login. Start and edit the workflow. When this is clicked, we are going to hide the sign up form, and we are going to display the login form. So we're going to go into element actions. We're going to hide the pop-up A, which is the sign up form, and we are going to show our login form. So this is going to be this login form here, right here. And now it's here. Now let's go and see if this is working as intended. We're going to click on preview. Gonna load this up. We're gonna click sign up or login. We want to log in, and there you go. You can log in now. Now let's say if we can log in. I think it's james@james.com. My password, secret password. We're gonna log in. Sorry, we couldn't find the user. Let's go back and see what was that user real quick. We're gonna go into app data, all users, and it's actually the email james2@james.com. And let's try that real quick. james2@james.com. Okay, we're gonna log in. And so it logged in, but it did not clear this out. So what we want to do is we want to refresh the page. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna go into the design. We're gonna click on header here. And then what we want to do is we want to take a look at this login, take a look at the login workflow, and we want to refresh the page. Navigation, refresh the page. Let's go back. Let's try this flow again. Let's go into the index, and let's go into preview and let it reload it real quick. And so we're logged in. We're going to log out. And now we're logged in. We are logged out. Now we're going to log in. james2@james.com. My secret password, log in. And now I'm logged in. Now, obviously, once you're logged in, it's going to show more data here. And this is something that I'm going to be working on later on. But for the purpose of this tutorial, this is what I wanted to show you guys today, how easy it is to create an authentication system for this kind of platform. It's super, super easy. And the thing you have to understand is that when you're going to be saving data, you can create a field, a specific field that's going to associate the data that you're saving with the user. And so, for instance, I have these items here. This is a custom field that I created. So if you go into data types, you go into this item here, you have this user owner. And so you can tie, you have this user field, you have a creator, but then you have a user that you want to associate it, a logged in user, any kind of user, and this is where you're going to be doing it here. So once you're going to be creating the app, you will be able to save the data and assign it to the specific user. Okay, so I really hope you've gotten value in this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because on this channel we are going to be talking a lot about no-code apps, or how to build a functionable app without writing a single line of code. Okay, so again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.